Well, shalom, me homies. Chelsea's genuinely got smiles and happiness. She's been trying to drag me out of a ditch.
The long, hard winter is upon us. That's kind of manly. Sorry.
It really is, though. It's been a vicious... December 18th, I think, was the last time we were like readily outside in reasonably warm weather. It's been many, many weeks. It's like the coldest it's ever been.
I pretty much live in head to toe wool right now. Layers of linen in there too, but lots of wool.
I throw on the silkies. I'm even wearing 5'11" tactical pants. I went all the way back.
Desperate.
It's not always linen, though it's amazing. If I had hemp, it would be all on. But silkies, y'all, for your underbritches. Silk is amazing. It stops the wind. And right now it's gusting at 55 miles an hour outside. It's -3. Keep the lantern burning. Chelsea, why don't you show them? We have an absolutely soul-crushingly sad video ahead. Prepare for sorrow. That's how I feel. Chelsea's rounded the curve and she's on the other end of it. I'm still in the ditch with the dead.
Well, the only reason I'm smiling today is because I have much less tailbone pain.
Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone why your tailbone hurts so bad?
Well,
got ambitious.
Got a little spriggly trying to go sledding with my girls. We did a winter here in the Appalachians last year, and it was very mild, and it was wonderful. We were feeding the birds. It was, I don't even think it snowed. It might have just went like a little dust, and that was it. And it was just rainy and moist and wonderful. There was a couple of really cold days, like chilly days, but overall we were like, we could do this. At least for me, I really don't like winter. And anyway, and it's funny because, you know, sometimes I'm like, why don't I like winter? I've kind of forgotten why I don't like winter. You know, like last year, winter was great until this couple days ago. I remembered why I don't like winter. And anyway, we got some snow. They were saying we were going to get 9 inches, and we only got 3, but we'll take it.
Our girls were crushed.
My girls were still grateful though, because there was snow, and they have never been sledding in their lives. We have lived, you know, full time in a motorhome for a majority of their life, and just traveling around, living in all kinds of different states. And yeah, we just, depending on where we've been, there just hasn't been a lot of snow. Or I guess in Missouri, right before our motorhome got all the mold and all of that. It's a big moment. Bessie's never been in snow like this, sweet girl. Nathan had to get up on the roof and knock basically what was on top of Gertie off of Bessie. Just so much snow. It's really heavy, wet snow too, but it's so beautiful. It's great. Girls are having a good time. They're eating a lot of snow. We did have like 9 inches of snow, and it was so much. And we didn't even, I guess the thought hadn't even crossed our minds to go sledding, because we just didn't even hardly know what to do, because we haven't been around snow in so long. And we just forgot. And I was like very, very pregnant. So I'm not going to get on a sled and go sledding. But this last summer, we picked up a sled at the thrift store for $10. It's an awesome sled, like super sturdy yellow sled. And we were like, people probably have been like, the winters here have been so mild. We don't need that thing anymore. Like, clear it out, you know? And we're like, maybe we'll get some snow this winter, and we'll be able to go sledding with the girls. So anyway, we finally got enough snow to sled, and went sledding with the girls. It was first we took the babies out, and it was an utterly miserable time with the twins.
It was 6 degrees outside. Blowing wind ferociously. We had them bundled up, but you guys understand. Anybody, well, if you don't, babies plus severe hard cold is just uncomfortable.
Miserable.
They have very little coping. You know what I mean? They're like very little coping. They're tough, but Abraham definitely knows how to say coldy, windy, coldy.
And we haven't lived in any place that we've gotten snow on a regular, consistent basis and that it's been really cold, like you Canadians up there, or you people in Minnesota and Wisconsin and Ohio. You guys are just, there's a whole other level up north, okay? You guys are hardcore. And you need all that snow gear, you know, those snow suits and things. Well, the Reynolds haven't really had any snowsuits. And I'm like, I'm not buying snowsuits. One, I have no place to store it in the RV. What's the point? We're always heading south anyway.
Well, hello. I'm battling a headwind and somewhat of a crosswind, so my day is 43% less exciting. And I have semis on my right and monsters on my left. But I'm decadently filled with fossils. But check out my fossil wall.
There's the fossil wall. Oh my. Oh my gosh, we're having too much fun back here. We're making string cheese mustaches. Hi, Juju. Hi.
Oh, she's trying to stick it up
Just
her
hold
nose.
the whole thing.
No, she's trying to stick it up her nose.
Oh my goodness. What are you doing, Juju? Oh, string cheese mustache. String cheese mustache.
I don't know. This has just been my mindset for forever. And then I'm like, they grow out of it. So it's literally not even going to be used, or maybe be used one day for them to just grow out of it next year. And you have to buy more and you have to store more. And anyway, this is just real. I'm just being real. And so we don't have snowsuits for our children, and it snowed. And so instead, our children put on 4 layers of pants, 4 layers of shirts, and then their wool. And actually, they were pretty warm. The girls didn't complain one single bit about it, but the babies, on the other hand, it was just, their cheeks got so red because it was so cold.
Good for them.
But they pretty much endured about 5 minutes and then cried the whole rest of the time, which was probably only another 5 minutes. And then we just were like, this is miserable trying to sled with the twins. Like, let's just go back inside. Everyone's cold. So we came back inside and I was like, I've kind of been a little under the weather, a little cold going on. And I don't know, I've just been staying up way too late and feeling really fatigued. And so I was like, maybe I'll nap with the babies. And but then I thought, well, we might not get snow again. So maybe I won't be able to sled with my girls, like, again, for a really long time. So maybe I need to seize the moment and just stay up and go sledding. So I put the babies down for a nap and I stayed up and went sledding with my girls. And we did about 6 runs. And
I'm gonna shove you all down the hill.
Dad, please get a tissue. Stop.
Had a catastrophic clash at the very beginning.
Jane and I just go,
It's 'cause I was on there. Hey, get out of the road.
that was a great one. That was really fun.
I'm doing my hot shot.
Let's go get
Chelsea's practicing 180s.
Well, that wasn't very fun.
Try again.
Jane, we're gonna get it.
we were all going to pile on the sled. Me and Jubilee and Naomi all piled on the sled. We're going about halfway down the driveway and something just went horribly wrong. The sled started to turn completely sideways and it got caught on something and just dumped us really hard out the side. Not anything crazy though. Like not anything that should be tailbone breaking. But anyway, I slid off that sled and jerked and popped down on something hard. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a rock in the driveway. I don't know if it was a tree root or if it was part of the sled, but my bottom came right down on that thing. And I was like, oh my, I have done it. I have done a horrible thing to my body. Like, this is already so painful, and I'm so scared because I don't know if I broke my tailbone, bruised it. I don't know what I did, but I did something horrible down there. So we stopped sledding, came inside, ate some cake. I was just rubbing arnica oil on it. I was like putting ice packs on it. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, have mercy. Like, I have twin babies, twin toddlers that are running around and into everything. And I can't be down and out with a broken tailbone right now. It's been one of the most painful things the last 3 days. And today, I think a lot of people have been praying for me. And there's been a lot of ice heat, arnica, deep tissue oil, arnica, deep tissue oil, arnica, deep tissue oil, just like trying to just stay on it. And finally feel some relief today. Like, I want to say my pain's probably down by 40%, which is huge. I'll take it. So anyway.
And this is, she's going to get a lantern. It's just for ambiance and warmth. We literally use this to try to keep ourselves warm. Backup radiant heating because we lose power in severe cold. But look at this thing. We love this. Thank you to the generous family that sent this to us. We've had some amazing gifts. Thank you we've had a lot of lanterns show up and tarps. So praise Yah, and diapers. You guys are awesome.
Can I just
People
say,
have hooked it up.
We had mentioned in a previous video when we were going through the hurricane or post-hurricane video that our lantern game was really sad and we were needing to up our lantern game. And so many generous people have been sending us lamp oil and lanterns, and it's been such a blessing. And so, to get used to using the lantern every night at dinner time, we light it and we eat dinner by candlelight, by lantern light, and our twins absolutely love it. And they call it rye instead of fire because they can't say fire, so they say rye. And if Nathan forgets to light it, Kiki will just be like, rye.
Today he said lantern. Today he said lantern. He said lantern. I was like, finally, yes. But anyways, highly recommended. It's so nice.
It's so easy.
It's so nice. And the fuel oil, what is that, Firefly? I don't remember what it's good. It's pretty nice. It's a super clean kerosene. But then I saw about mantle lanterns, where they have a mantle, like a Coleman mantle, where it just glows so much brighter because it doesn't produce a ton of light. Like, if we turn off all the lights and that's it, we can't see what's in our bowls for a while. Some of us get night vision faster than others in our family, and it can cause tears at mealtime when children cannot see the food. So anyways, that's just launched me down to another study of how can I burn kerosene efficiently indoors, odorless with the mantle. I'm on another thing, but
we're loving the candle light and the lantern light. And actually, we lost power the other day, and we were literally like, you know what? It's going to be okay. We just lit the lantern. Like, we're going to be okay. Like, we've already been doing this. We've been practicing, you guys. And honestly, there's something really comforting about it. There's something really comforting about the lantern, and just we've gotten so comfortable and soothed by it. It's become a daily regular routine thing that if the power goes out, then it's not so alarming.
This is honestly one of the biggest changes of living east of the Mississippi. Power outages are a regular occurrence where there's trees. Out west, you just don't even think about it. You rarely lose power unless there's cataclysmic tornadoes, wildfires. But even then, it's nothing quite so persistent. But out here, power outages are prodigious, and they're regular. So generators are essential, propane generator. But because I stored up a fair amount. I would love to have 2,000 pounds of propane on hand. I stored up a fair amount of propane, which now I've just been burning for heat because it's freezing. And we got these indoor propane buddy heaters. Some of you guys are going to freak out and be like, yeah, it's dangerous. They're indoor rated. There's ambient airflow. We're doing it right. Anyways, those things have been keeping this place so warm, so much better than just the electric heaters. Man, it's a conspiracy. Get everyone conditioned to the electric heat only, and then take the power from them and watch them die. So I think about this stuff at night. Death came back to our home. It's awful. It's been a mess. It's been good, but it was super tragic. I had some super stupid stuff, crappy. I don't know. It's been a roller coaster.
Well, we have been, well, I guess I should say.
I played a part in it. It's an active contributor.
Yeah, well, back over the summer, I started seeing a more natural doctor, just to try to help. Well, I was having some liver pain, and I wanted to see if it was significant, if there was serious levels off in my liver causing this, if there was nutritional deficiencies, if it was still mold in my body. I kind of wanted to know these things. And so I went to a naturopath, and they did some labs on me. I ended up doing a urine mycotoxin test, and she ended up determining that I actually, it shows a bunch of different toxins that you can have in your urine, and then different types of mold and stuff. But she determined that, actually, she said, this is amazing, because usually if somebody has black mold in their urine still, or if someone has black mold in their urine, they usually are positive for these other toxins as well. And I didn't show any of the other toxins. I only showed that I still had this lingering black mold active in my body, in the urine. And so she said, I can tell you've been doing things to detoxify your body, and you've been doing a good job, and your body has really released everything else that usually is toxic and comes up with black mold. And it's like black mold's buddy, you know, kind of. And so she said, I can tell you've been doing things to detoxify, but, you know, you definitely still have black mold in there. So we want to start doing some different things to try to help you get rid of the black mold. And we've just had a lot going on this fall. You know, it's been busy. It's been very busy. And so I just haven't been really up for a detox, so to say. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait till we get all settled, wait till we get unpacked, and then maybe I'll be ready to do a detox. Nathan actually thought about doing a detox as well, and we were wanting to do one for our daughters, named Naomi and Jubilee. So we all decided to get on this cleanse, this herbal flush. So we went ahead and got on this herbal flush and started doing it for about 10 days. And then my plan was somewhere during the herbal flush, start taking this very small dose multi-spectrum binder that my doctor wanted me to get on, and she said she wants me to be on it for like about 5 or 6 months straight. So I was like, wow, that seems kind of intense. It's like low dose activated charcoal, bentonite clay, I think a couple other like she said earths, like some kinds of clay, just different varieties of clay and stuff. But anyway, she was going to get me on that, and so I was going to start taking it when we were doing the herbal flush. We all started taking the herbal flush. We were doing it for about almost 10 days. And we had actually gone to a local Shabbat fellowship. We wanted to go hang out with some people and fellowship, just have a good Shabbat with people. So we went to this fellowship, and it was wonderful. And then the next day we all got sick. It was such a bummer because, you know, we don't really see that many people. And so when we do get to see people, it's very exciting. And then that was just such a blow that we got sick right after seeing people. We're like, oh man, we don't see enough people. But anyway, so we got sick, and so we were sick, but then I was like, well, maybe it's the detox. I'm not sure. I don't know. And then all of a sudden it kind of had occurred to me that I hadn't had my period in a while. And I was like, oh man, I better look and see what, like, I try to track this stuff. I try to put it in my phone, and like, we better check this out. So anyway, took a pregnancy test, and it was positive. And we were very
This is the reality of that. Pray for our family. Lots of those, because you can't really tell anyone. And then you're just going through all emotions and thoughts about every side of it. It's been rough. You've had some trauma surrounding pregnancy a bit. There's been a lot of tears around here for a lot of different reasons over the course of the last month.
Yeah.
Anyone tell any of that?
Well, just, yeah, I definitely, well, I think I felt really overwhelmed being pregnant. One, because we have twin, 1.5-year-olds, and they are active as all get out and just keeping us on our toes, and just, we feel like we're treading water almost on a daily basis with them. So that was hard enough it's all hard enough having them. And then just the thought of being pregnant again, having all of the nausea and morning sickness, going through all of that. And then, I had this last pregnancy was one of the most challenging pregnancies of my entire life. And it was one thing after another. I was so sick. I was so unwell. I was so in so much pain throughout the entire thing. And I was having the weirdest symptoms of my life.
Crazy.
How you doing there?
Jumping book.
Not good.
Yeah, that's the
Just
jumping
trying
book.
to I have the
That's-
window
you're gonna
open.
pick a prize.
I'm trying
After,
to
That's the prize book.
cool myself down so I don't throw up.
How's pregnancy?
This has been the hardest thing, the hardest pregnancy I've ever had.
It'll be the end. It takes 2 hours.
It's been incredible testing, and it's been one thing after another. Just physical
Giddy up.
challenges to overcome. I think I'm 7.5 months pregnant right now, 28 weeks. I don't even know if that's 7.5, whatever.
Who
In my
even
mind,
knows?
it's 7.5. I have a new cough that just sprung up the other day. Mucus out of nowhere. I'm having hot flashes, nausea, diarrhea, achy joints all over. So this is probably just like a flu or some kind of just basic sickness. But on top of that, just having sciatic pain, back pain all over. Every single joint of mine hurts. I have one linen sock on because I'm trying to help my ankles to feel better because my ankles are in so much pain right now. And but then I got too hot, so I took off the and I drank a tea, and I have this heating pad on my back because I was trying to have my back feel better, but then I think I got too overheated, and then I felt nauseous, like I was gonna throw up. So it's just like this. It's just a battle. It's a constant battle. I didn't sleep last night. I had horrible insomnia and just slept terribly. I woke up this morning and I just asked my daughters if they would pray for me, and I just cried. I just sat on my exercise ball and just cried, and they just held me and they just prayed over me. And then Nathan came out and he's like, "Oh, honey, what's going on?" And I just was crying and crying and crying and crying.
Oh, girl.
Some days I wake up and it's just so hard and I just cry. I just cry and I'm just so uncomfortable. I'm in so much pain all day long. And then other days are great. I'm having so much pelvic pain, which I have had with all my babies, but I have to wear this like pelvic girdle to hold up, to hold up my belly and strap everything in and support it, because if I don't, my back and pelvis just ache. They just absolutely ache. Every step I take, they just ache. So it's been quite a doozy. But every day is an opportunity to overcome and endure and try and stay positive and remember that the trials are only for our good. They're only ever for our good, because they refine us in a way that only going through something like that would. I'm working on my endurance right now. And in 2 Peter it talks about how, chapter 1, it talks about building up your faith in righteousness, and from righteousness to knowledge, knowledge to self-control, self-control to endurance. I feel like I'm at that stage right now of endurance. And then it says endurance to reverence, which is the fear of Yahuah. And then from the fear of Yahuah, you go to brotherly love, brotherly affection, and then from brotherly affection to love. And it's made to the trials help to perfect our faith in Him. So even though it's hard, I'm trying to just endure, because I want to get to the next phase of just fear and reverence of Him alone, and not letting fear of any of these ailments, any of these physical challenges make me afraid to give birth, because it's such a battle of the mind. I feel like this whole pregnancy has been a complete battle of the mind right here. Battling off that fear. That's a stronghold for so many women. Fear of childbirth, fear of dying. Fear of not being able to overcome. It's such a battle of the mind. And it's a daily surrendering of that fear and laying it down before Him, so that we fear Him and Him alone. So that's where I'm at today. At 7.5 months pregnant. It's a long road, and it's... I still have a long road to go. But one day at a time, that's all I can do.
I need to get your food. And grab my little bits at the table.
I just want to not be in so much pain.
Life, things that I had never battled before, things that I'd never even like occurred to me could happen to you, and occurs on some freakish level during pregnancy to some small amount of people. And I'm sure a lot of it had to do with me having a twin pregnancy, which I didn't know I was going through at the time. So I'm experiencing all these crazy symptoms, just like, for one, like being, I couldn't eat. I was so full, and it was probably because there was 2 babies in there, very full. I was so full, and it was putting so much pressure on my stomach. I literally could take 2 bites of food, and that was it. I was like so full. I could not eat, yet my body was like starving, and I was like so hungry, and I would just eat, and I would fill up, and I would be so full. I literally couldn't, or feel like I was going to burst. Like I couldn't take in any more food, and I would just cry. I would just cry because I was like, this is torture. Like I can't eat. And my body feels like it's starving itself. Like I feel like I'm so hungry. I need this nutrition for the baby, and I can't eat. So that was just one of many symptoms. Then I fell twice while I was pregnant with the twins. I fell into a ditch, literally trying to save Jubilee's life because she was falling in the ditch. And I remember I like grabbed her arm and flung her up as I like fell into the ditch, this huge 4-foot down ditch, and wham, impacted all my pelvis, like just shook. And I've had previous pelvic injury from pregnancy. And so it's already very vulnerable. And when you get relaxin in your body, that hormone that starts to loosen up all the ligaments and joints and everything. And so anyway, that pelvis just shifted out of alignment then. And it's in agony when it shifts. That symphysis pubis drops and that ligament shifts out of alignment. It's absolute agony. And then and then like a couple weeks later, Jubilee had tripped and fallen and hurt her lip, and we had to take her to the ER to get stitches, and I'm holding my baby girl who has a busted up, torn up lip in the waiting room, and they call us to come back, and I go to stand up, and I don't know if it was my pants or my shoes or the rug or what, but I tripped with my baby girl who's injured, who we're at the hospital for. I trip and fall forward with her in my arms, and instead of crushing her, throwing her, having her crash and get hurt, I held her up and I just collapsed and fell on my knees and wham, smashed down on my knees and that pelvis again. It was just nonstop. It was nonstop. And then toward the end of pregnancy, I suffered through having what I think was cholestasis, where your gallbladder starts to get really, really sluggish and your liver's kind of struggling and your gallbladder's getting real sluggish. And anyway, your body isn't able to process out the bile salts. And so they start accumulating in your system and they start circulating in your blood system. And so you start getting insane internal itching, like I can't even describe, and itching of your palms, of your hands, and your feet, the soles of your feet, and just unbelievable itching. It was so severe, I couldn't even sleep. I could sleep for maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and I would just wake up just itching like crazy, and nothing helped it. Nothing stopped it except for ice cold water. So I would just submerge my feet and hands sometimes in just an ice bath. And I would just sit there until I almost couldn't tolerate the ice anymore. I would try to do like 5 to 10 minutes of just ice, and then the itching would subside, and then I would try to just immediately go back and go to bed. I had a sweet friend who ended up buying me some foot ice packs. They were like socks with ice packs on the top and the bottom. And she got me 2 pairs so I could swap them out throughout the night and just use them continually. And I did. And it was such a blessing. Gave me a little bit of relief in a really, really miserable time. But I was dying, you guys. I was normally in the end of pregnancy, you're supposed to gain weight. And instead of gaining weight, I was losing weight. And I actually had lost 5 pounds in the last month of pregnancy, which I had only gained a total of 26 pounds. And for a twin pregnancy, that's like nothing. That's like nothing. I mean, not that's nothing, but every single bit of it was the babies and the fluid.
Oh, yeah. It was 20 pounds after birth. 20 pounds was gone. It was basically the entirety of the babies and the placenta alone.
It was crazy, but I don't want to make this whole video about talking about this, but it was so intense that having the babies, then surviving through the birth, which I literally thought I might die during childbirth. I really thought that could be a possibility because I got sick with the mold and my body was so weak at the end. And I know what it takes. I've had 2 natural births before. I know what it takes. It takes unbelievable energy and endurance. And, Yeshua alone is the one that gave me strength to do that. Like, I could not have done that. Like, he literally reached down, delivered me, saved me, delivered my life, delivered my babies perfectly and healthily, through that entire labor, because had he not done that, I absolutely thought I was going to die. I didn't die. I lived. And then we went on this crazy journey of then having to raise 2 babies, which was very unexpected. We weren't expecting to have 2 babies. We found out when Abraham was caught in the the Copper Basin that we thought we were going to catch the placenta, and we ended up catching our son. And that's the first time we were aware of him or saw him, and it was a miracle. It was our miracle twins. So literally born on the Feast of First Fruits. It was beautiful. But yeah, so then we went into the venture of raising twins, and it's been hard. It's been really hard. And so I think the thought of having another child, we just were like, oh gosh, I literally can't imagine that. It's the last couple of years of our lives have been so difficult with the twins, and the most difficult pregnancy I ever had, and a 3-day night labor that I had. I mean, that's the longest labor you can really have. I mean, I'm sure there's longer ones, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's the longest labor I've ever had. And it just everything about the whole experience has been so intense. And it really makes you feel very trepidatious about having to go through any of that ever again. And that yeah. So when we found out we were pregnant, we were really overwhelmed.
I think this is the reality of a lot of parents have to deal with these emotions that they may not be so transparent about later on when their child's alive and try to explain to them this stuff. You can't really comprehend it until you're in it. But all of this creates these backlogs of experiences or unprocessed feelings and emotions, or because you're just in this near survival state for so long. Raising children is such a refiner's fire, is such a incredibly sacrificial system, especially when you're trying to do it more or less on your own. We have a big family of support abroad, around there, out there, folks like you watching this, but it's not the same as having a family that's near that you trust to give you breaks, trade you out, hang out. Just totally different. Those of you that have parents or grandparents or people that can come in and help watch your children with you, it's just such a completely different experience. But I know there's a lot of people out there today who raise their children completely. And the wear and tear that those twins had on us was prodigious.
This is what it's real life and twin life. Tell them, Nate. Tell them. So lots of this. So much screaming. This one's finally chilled out. But otherwise, it's just pretty much screaming nonstop sometimes. No matter what you do. You're waiting for bottles. You're like, oh yeah, just get bottles ready. Bottles are ridiculous. They're helping us, but they're a nightmare. Meanwhile, my wife is making just delicious. Look at that. Come on now. Praise Yah for fresh living kamut and screaming babies. They're great. Chelsea's helping me to understand they're like salt in my wounds. That's what they're here for. They're here to salt my wounds, which I need so that all the infection and rottenness in my soul from all the trauma and insane screaming and torture I went through all my life can have healing. It's good. Yah just double dipped on me. He's like, you know what you need? Twice as much salt in the depths of your soul and burning suffering. She looks so cute right now, I know. She's a little pearl. Not always like that.
Tell me what baby life is like.
Mom's just trying to eat dinner. And the babies are very fussy. We're nearing bedtime. I'm just trying to shove some food in my mouth. Mom life.
Oh my God, baby.
It was brutal. It was brutal. And we kind of felt like we finally had some nice normalcy going, like stabilization. It's been so much better, her and I and our children, and we've been doing so much more homeschooling with the girls, and they're just blossoming in their reading and comprehension and math and all these different little areas. They're just like blooming. And the idea of facing an unknown of how your body was going to be in the next phase of pregnancy. I mean, how you were going to be and how sick, injured, bed rest, not bed rest, all these different factors of, I have no idea what level of you will be available for the next 10 months or year. Last time she got pregnant, it was 18 months before she came out of it. It was so much longer than a 10-month pregnancy.
Because I was so sick, and I still have been sick. I'm still, many of you know, I've been on this healing journey for the black mold, and I just this last summer took a mold test, and I still have black mold in my body, you guys. I've tried so many different things, and part of it too, being pregnant, you can't detox from mold. So toward the end of my pregnancy, when I found out I had this horrible mold toxicity exposure, the only thing we could really do was get out of the moldy environment. And I started taking some activated charcoal and some chlorella, I think, like binders that were like pretty safe to take while like at the end of pregnancy. But I mean, technically, like people always say when you're pregnant or when you're nursing, it is not the time to detox. Like it is not the time to make your body go through a massive upheaval and dumping of toxins into your system, right? Because the chance of it getting into the baby through the breast milk or, while your baby's inside you are high. And so it's just really not recommended. So then I had the twins and still needing to detox my body from mold. And I'm breastfeeding not only one, but now 2 babies. So there's no way I'm going to be able to really detox. So I tried doing kind of more natural things like I ended up doing and feeling, like the Father put it on my heart to do the 40 days of cold immersion. So I did the cold water therapy. So I did cold immersing in a freshwater creek right by our house where we were raising the twins, and or an Airbnb. It wasn't our house. It was an Airbnb we were renting. But anyway, just started cold immersing in the icy cold spring water. And I did it for 40 days. I actually did it for like 43 days, and I've never felt better, honestly, guys. Like I have never felt more amazing in my entire life. Like I literally felt like you were climbing a mountain, but like as you're climbing the mountain, you're getting in shape and you're just feeling better and better as you're seeing better and better views. Like that's what it feels like. I don't know. I just feel so. I'm telling you, it's pure joy down in these waters. You got to get down in the water. It feels so good. You feel so good when you come out. Oh, you feel like so much more refreshed than when you even come out of a hot shower. I can't even explain it to you guys. It must be releasing, the cold water must be releasing like not only endorphins, but like it's got to be like doing something with like the dopamine in your brain because it is so good. Amazing. Like I would have continued it had our neighbor not gotten really mad at us.
I came out of the water screaming because I generally do that. It's when I'm happy again. When I come out of that water, I'm laughing maniacally. And he yelled off his deck. I don't know, maybe 80 yards away. What are you doing?
Swimming, sir. Swimming in the icy cold creek down here. It's wonderful. You should come in.
Knock it off. You're not supposed to be down there. I mean, he was not happy about it. Technically, we got in a little debate about this is not technically his property and the property easement lines. It was super awkward. Then the guy just let his dogs loose.
The swimming hole was right on the property
technically
line.
On the property line. It was
Between
debatable.
yeah.
Anyways, he started letting his really mean dogs loose on us after that. So it kind of ended the go down to the immersion zone.
Go down to the watering hole.
It happened. But it's just been a roller coaster over the years in trying to get health and wellness. And
then I was doing Epsom salt baths. I was doing red light therapy. I did a low histamine diet for 3 months, which that was no joke, guys. That was like serious. And then I also did a 40-day fast going into a 40-day fast of sugar. Let me clarify, of sugar, going into the low histamine diet for then, which was a pretty extreme diet for and lots of supplementation for 3 months to literally heal my guts. In an attempt to heal my guts, heal my digestion, support my liver so that my body could detoxify. And that was rough. I lost a lot of weight. I got real skinny. Nathan got real worried about me again. It was kind of probably a flashback and trauma for him because of what I've been through as well. So we've both been through kind of just different trauma surrounding this last couple years. Like it's just been a lot, with the mold, but really just trying to heal my body. And then I found out I was pregnant. I was not only overwhelmed, but I was honestly like super discouraged because I had just started the herbal flush. I was just about to finally get to this detox that my body has been needing to finally rid my body of the black mold. Like, get it out, finally get it out. Because what happens with how my naturopath described it is black mold has like these hooks, and what happens is it like hooks itself into it embeds itself into your cells, and then it rapidly kind of degenerates your cells, and it causes like rapid like aging. Like, I feel like my body and my skin has aged tremendously in the last 10 years. I feel like I've aged. I look like I aged 10 years in the last 2 years. Like, it's just, but she says this from the mold. Like, it really is the mold. It's so sad, you guys. Like, it's so sad. The mold is so devastating. It's so destructive to your body. And like, it's so difficult to get it out. And I just feel like, okay, I'm finally not nursing. I'm finally not pregnant. I'm going to finally do this detox. But then I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, oh man. So once I found out I was pregnant, I just stopped all the herbal flush, stopped all the things. And we were just mentally trying to wrap our mind around being pregnant again, and just, I don't know, really wrestling. And I was really wrestling discouragement and despair, honestly, because like I said, I wanted so badly to be healed. I want so badly to be healed of this mold. I want so badly to be freed of this. Oh, and to just have to literally stop it again. And now who knows how long till I'll be able to be healed and be able to be free of this black mold. And it's just going to keep wreaking havoc on me. And then now wreaking havoc on me and my new baby I'm carrying. Like, I don't know. I just was so discouraged. I cried so hard. Just really wrestling with Yah too about it, and just, praying and crying out to him, and just, letting him know how overwhelmed I was, and just that, yeah, I don't know how we're going to do this. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
We both had that feeling where you're just almost in a funk, in a phase of just walking around in a daze, because you also couldn't process it with our children. We don't tell them. And we just wanted to see what would, but on the other side of it, I think her and I just kind of sat around in denial in its own way of trying to face that. And how are we going to logistically navigate the next change of going back into baby life and newborn life, and just all the other, those rinse and repeat of, for me, is pretty much the hardest thing I darn near go through at any time in my life, which is being around babies, being back in the baby world. It is excruciating and very, very refining. Oh, that's one way to say it. Very miserable. It's okay. I mean, if you endure it to the end, but they'll turn into children eventually, the bigger kind. But baby raising is the hardest thing in my modern life I've ever been through. And I'm
still in it.
It's not quite baby. Twins are, they're mostly out of babiness, but it's still there. Still there. The echoes of the crazy. It's still there a little bit,
Pearl cries a lot.
Pearl cries a lot too. She's delicate. She's sweet. She's real delicate. Abraham is a tank. It's a fortress, a literal fortress. He's wonderful. Pearl's wonderful too. She's very sweet and very tedious, like Jubilee. She got skills. She got mad skills. But it reveals all of these inner unclarified areas, unrectified areas that need continued washing and restoration. I think the part of it that we've struggled even to make this video and to talk about was because not too long later, we ended up losing the baby.
Not very long, actually, at all. I started spotting, and I remember I told you I was spotting, and we were both kind of like, oh my gosh, like, are are we just about to miscarry now? Like after we've been through all of the rough emotions over the last week and just going from like being like overwhelmed to kind of like despairing to kind of like numb to kind of like, you know, reflecting on past traumas to realizing like, yeah, like I'm not healed from past traumas, like from the birth and the birth and the pregnancy and everything of the last one that I had. And just realizing too, like for Nathan, like it was super hard for him, like, you know, because of the trauma he's experienced in his life, like, you know, that babies crying and raising babies is probably one of the hardest things that Nathan's ever had to do. And he said that. But anyway, to just go through all those emotions and then have the spotting and be like, wow, are we miscarrying? Like, this is so crazy. And I remember we just had a big conversation that day and like, we just cried. Like, I just cried because I was just so like all the things we just talked to you guys about. But then, Nathan, you had prayed that day, right? Baby. Oh, you had prayed that day. And what did you pray? Do you remember?
Well, just, you know, you start praying, just not my will, but yours be done, you know, Father, because you're just, if there's any chance that this baby is not going to make it full term, you know, that you would take the baby early. But if it's destined for life with us, you know, we welcome it and we want it to be here. And we started, you know, you start going through the names and picking names, and you start to identify with this child, and you go through the first few days of just kind of shock, but then you start getting your head around it and you're like, we got to start taking steps towards, this is our future. This is going to be our reality, because we have another life that we've been entrusted with, and we have another member of our family that we need to love, nurture, and provide for and support. But we start to pray that, just surrender it to him, because at the end of the day, it's not whatever cup that he has for us to face, we got to face it. And if there's any way that these cups could pass from us, let it be so, you know. But it's not, ultimately at the end of our day, it's not our will, but his that needs to be done, that he has greater purposes than we can comprehend. He has a plan of redemption that we get to be a part of by humbling ourselves and surrendering our self-sovereignty, our control over to him, that we can give him the opportunity to weave into our story the path of restoration, a path of healing, a path of beautiful redemption, even out of sorrow and loss and a tragedy. And so then when she also started saying that she was spotting, there's this other side of it too, because her and I have taken the Nazarite vow that if you come into contact with death or somebody dies unexpectedly around you, it ends your Nazarite vow. And so then that was a whole other piece of the component that came into the equation that we started having to talk about, and realizing, oh my gosh, if we lose this baby too, our vows are going to be over. And that's a major change for our life and what we've been doing for the last few years, and part of the commitment of what we made with Yahuah and each of us individually. And I mean, it was one of the most heavy and trying days. And so by the time she actually miscarried, I mean, we were just very raw. And we had never, this is not our first miscarriage. This is our third. But
and I think with the other two that when I had miscarried, one of them was I had miscarried when I wasn't even at the house. We had taken our children to the park, and I started cramping severely in the park and ended up passing it at the park bathroom. And I'm sorry if that's too much information, but at the time, you know, I didn't even know what was happening. I was really hoping I wasn't miscarrying, and I had just talked to my friend who had multiple miscarriages on the phone and was kind of asking her, like, what happened, like if you had spotting, how do you know like it's headed in that direction? Because I've had a lot of other friends too that have had spotting and bleeding throughout their pregnancy, and they ended up having a healthy, fine baby, and it wasn't a miscarriage at all. And then others, it was. So it's just kind of hard to know. But I know ever since that miscarriage, I have always kind of thought I really had wished that I would have kind of wrapped my mind around what was really happening in the moment, and would have been able to like salvage the whatever remains was coming out and be able to just give it a proper burial, because it's still a child. It still was a life that you were carrying in your womb for however long you had them in there. And I just always kind of had that regret that I wasn't able to bury the baby. And so with this one, since we were home, I was able to retrieve, the baby or the remains that came out. And we took it down, and we had put our children to bed and didn't tell them. And then we just waited till after they were asleep, and we took it outside and took it down there. And I just told Nathan, I said, I want you to bring a flashlight down, because I want to be able to like look. I want to be able to see if we can even see if it was a baby, because I couldn't even tell. It was just like kind of just really dark red. Like it looked kind of almost similar to like a placenta coming out. Like that's the only thing I could really relate it to. But it just looked similar to that. And we got a flashlight and we looked at it, and we're standing out there in the dark at the base of this tree, and we're pretty certain that it looks like a little baby. Like we're really certain it did. And that was hard. That broke our heart, and we definitely cried and grieved that. And that was really hard. But at the same time, it felt right to be able to dig a hole in the dirt and put it in the dirt and not down the sewer, So that was good, and that was right, and I'm glad we did that. And I really wish I would have done that with my others.
And I don't think we never got to do that with each other. That's the first time her and I buried a life together, And it was as soon as you could identify it as a child there, it was very different, because then it was very grievous that we were so conflicted about maybe not wanting to have a child, then you feel horrible. Guilt. It's very, you feel very guilty, because now you're seeing your, and you see that this purely innocent life that should have been given every opportunity to the best of our ability was, but still, even just our thoughts against it or fears about it, all of that just starts hammering you, and you just feel brutal. You feel brutal. And that was very brutal for us.
Yeah.
And now it's like pains of regret, and why we got to be so careful with our words.
Yes.
And especially with our children, because there's such an inheritance and a blessing. And it's very hard situationally to not look at the short-term reality of what your near future is going to bring with these children. But the long-term fruit of them is so pure, and I had just had this crazy night a couple weeks before that where I had finished reading 1st and 2nd Samuel to my daughters, and I never knew if I would ever read that book, read all the way through that with them, and to sit here and just be amazed that I've lived and they've lived all the way to where we could read through the scriptures together was such a beautiful gift. And you realize the deprivation of life when any child dies prematurely is exhausting and brutal, of that hope. But I'm thankful we had that moment.
Well, and I was just going to say that I feel like any time that we've gotten pregnant, we never felt ready, like I'm sure there's many parents out there who would agree with that, and who know what that feels like, or who have had children very close together. I know many, many women who have had, just gave birth to a baby, and then 3 months later got pregnant again, and then, had another baby, and then 9 months later had another, got pregnant again. And it's just like rapid fire, like they're just in it, in it to win it there. And that's so hard. It's so challenging, and it's so hard in sometimes because I feel like, and I mean, maybe some people, have these moments where they've waited, they've longed for a child, and then they finally get pregnant. And so there is this excitement, and there is this, real happiness and joy with it. But then I think many times it catches us very off guard. And if I was honest, I would say that every time that I found out I was pregnant, it caught me off guard. Even when I was really excited too, it still always caught me off guard, and it felt like it was throwing a crazy wrench into whatever plans that I had and were setting for myself and my life, and expectations that I had, maybe made in my mind. And when it throws a big wrench in there, you're just kind of like, whoa, like, it's very shocking, and it's super hard. But I can honestly say this, that every single one of my children, when they were conceived and when they were born and the time that they came into our life, was perfection that only the Most High could do. Like that is a perfection of the Creator himself. Like his timing is perfect. It is always perfect. And even when we're not ready for it, even when we mentally don't think that we can handle it, like he knows. He is apart from, he's sitting apart from all time, all space, and he is just, he can see it all, right? He can see it all from the beginning to the end. And we don't have that. We don't have that same perspective. And we have a very limited, blinders on perspective of our life and our life circumstances. And it's really hard to get out of our narrow perspective sometimes and to press into, the fact that he is all knowing and he is perfect. Like his timing is perfect, and it's flawless. And every single one of our children, he knew we needed them. He gave them to us at exactly the right time. And they have been a tremendous blessing, a tremendous refinement, and challenging beyond measure at times, but so good for us. And like late Nathan and I say this all the time. We're like, if you're young, have children, have lots of them. Like if you're young and married, like have lots of children, have them soon rather than later. Cause ours ended up kind of coming spaced out and, more in the latter side of things. But like that being said, like every single one was perfect. Every single one was perfect and was his timing, and I'm so grateful for that. And like, we can rest in that. We can rest in the fact that he is so faithful. He is so faithful. He has never not been faithful. And like, just trying to remind yourself of that even during that. Like I remember kind of talking to you in the kitchen at one point, and just, when you were having a hard day, like I'd be having a hard day, then he'd be having a hard day, kind of wrestling through it. I remember talking to him in the kitchen one time and just being like, you know what, like I know this doesn't make sense to us, but like his timing is perfect. It's perfection. Like his timing is absolutely perfect. So no matter what we think we want to do, this detox over here and this little whatever, like I was just like, his timing is perfect. And, sometimes a lot of times you can't see it when you're in it. But then, maybe a couple years down the road, maybe 10 years down the road, you can finally see it. And you're like, aha, that I can see it now. I can see the big picture. I can see the picture, the tapestry that he was, weaving, the painting, the beautiful painting that he was painting. Like I can see every brushstroke now, and it's so clear, and I can see what he was doing, and he is good. He is good. He is always good. And like, that was good for me, even though in the moment I was thought I was drowning and thought I'd die or thought it was horrible or whatever it was, you know. Like he's just so good. And but that was hard. That was really hard when we realized that, and or that when the baby died, and then just having the realization and the heaviness of like, wow, like we've got to end this vow now. And we had to wait 7 days after the baby died. And then how you end the Nazarite vow is shaving your head, correct?
Yeah.
And so we had to do that.
I had this. The Nazarite vow has a few things. You abstain from wine and anything from the fruit of the vine, you know, grapes and strong drink and cutting your hair and death. And I had this longing that death would be abated, you know, kept far from me. And you rely on the Most High to kind of insulate you from that, because sudden death can happen at any time. You also abstain from funerals and a lot of the kind of ritual experiences around death that people participate in. But as I was sitting there with her down in the grave, you know, I had this just realization that death was back in our life, you know, and for her, it doesn't have as much meaning as it does for me, and what death has been, you know, the family generational stronghold that accompanies that had accompanied my family for so long, and wanting to never have to be around it again. I've had my fill of death and then some in my life, and I don't want it anywhere near my family. And it's a very familiar feeling, and I didn't want that to become a new reality. And I was very grieved at that, and it was very painful realization for me. In considering the ramifications of no longer having the same relationship with death as we've had and enjoyed for the last few years, of not having any interactions in that regard. So that was a very painful thing that I've also just struggled with, because I had hoped that it would stay away from me for the rest of my life, you know, that we would never have to deal with death again. But he's appointed it for us, you know. As you said, I don't have the lens of why yet. I don't have the lens of why yet. And I know it'll come eventually. But until then, I have fullness of faith to know that he'll provide an understanding to me once again. And I don't have to give in to the familiar feelings that come alongside that in the same way. But it's been a battle in that regard. But we mourned together. We got to grieve together. And then we got to shave our heads together.
Oh, it would be a great reveal.
So we've shaved our heads, because that's how you end the vow.
There's that.
In the heart of winter.
Like the ships that have been shorn in winter.
Very cold. I have sensations on my ears that I haven't felt in many years.
Oh no. You're just chopping it off?
Watching, yes.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Nathan's hair is so thick. You okay?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to.
You're not cutting my scalp.
Okay, good.
You're doing great.
Oh my gosh.
It's making a funny sound. Oh, it came off. There's his giant braid. Dad, look. Look. Oh my gosh. Dad, You look so different.
Only for a minute, Naomi. There you go. It's like the texture of beaver. It's more like the density of a beaver.
Beaver's tail.
It's like a beaver's tail.
Look, now his hair's all short. Wow, that looks so different, Dad.
Well, it's gonna look a lot more different here. Way to go.
I've never even trimmed anyone's hair like
Just
this
think about
before.
the movie.
Oh my gosh, do you want me to
Start
go
going.
straight down?
Sure.
How do I do this?
You turn it on.
Gosh, this is scary.
What's the cereal?
That's I guess the bottom setting of it. There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Nathan.
Oh, this is when it goes all bye-bye. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Oh my
pretty short?
gosh, yes. Whoa. It looks different. Let me see, Dad. Look at me.
Do you want to see it first?
Dad, look at me.
Yeah. Wow. No, keep going. Keep going.
Dad, look at me.
I see it, Nate.
Oh my. No, I want to see. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is so different. Oh. This is so short.
You want to rub your head? You want to rub your head?
Dad, rub it. Feel it.
Whoa. My.
Yeah. Your hair's all gone. Dad, look.
There's still
Look at
some there, Nate. It's not all gone.
it's just a
There's
tiny
a little bit of a
It'll
fuzz.
grow.
There's some
A little bit of
fuzz.
a
It's just fuzzy. Feel it.
It'll grow back.
tough. It's tough.
There you go. Just tufty. But we had our different reasons for taking the vow. But
Do you want to say?
well, in many ways, I wanted to be free from death. Yeah, I wanted to be given a physical reminder for sobriety, to maintain sobriety, but I wanted death to be far from me. You know, that was a huge reason for me, and to just set myself apart to Yahuah. It's the Nazarite vow. It's not for everyone. I know some people don't think you can take it today, and whatever. That's fine for them to think that, but I believe it's something that people can decide for themselves and to dedicate themselves more completely to Yahuah. And it's a blessing to do that, but it's also a very heavy one. And I don't recommend for the vast majority of people in that regard that they be cautious about be careful about entering into any vow with Yahuah. You're warned about entering into if you enter into a vow with him, you're going to pay him completely. You're going to pay up for that thing. You know what I mean? So don't be rash with your words. Don't make rash vows. There's even verses in the Torah that describe for you, if you make a rash vow, you say something that you're later on like, oh, I don't really want to, you can amend that. You can repent of it. Or if your wife says something rash vow, you can be like, no, we're not going to stick to that. But a vow is a very serious thing, and it should be handled with a weightiness, with a fear of the Most High and a respect of that. But you do your duty to pay it all the way through, and to see our pile of hair sitting on the floor was quite a revelation of that. We have seen this thing through to the end of when it changed, but it wasn't something that was of our own circumstances, our own circumstantial control. And I think it was freeing because we got to go through it together. I mean, the last time I touched a dead body was Rob Skibas. I carried him over the threshold into his house, and then and at his funeral, that was the last time you were around a dead body. And that was a very different season in our life. That was almost 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago now. And that was the last time her and I had been around a dead body. And so it was a very heavy experience for us then, and it is now. And to know that the Father has this beautiful gift of resurrection, the power that comes through believing that Yeshua died for our sins and was raised 3 days later, according to the Scriptures, and that we believe on his name. And we know that the power of resurrection will come, and we rejoice in that. And that's why death has lost its sting and its victory. It is silenced in its end because he says so, you know, and it's given us new life. But you were given your life back, and that's, I know, was a big reason for why you even felt compelled that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, well, as I had mentioned a little bit ago, just that I really thought I was going to die during the birth of the twins, the surprise birth of the twins, because I didn't know I was having twins. But I definitely thought I might die. I was so weak and I was so sick, and I had never in my life been in a position like that before, to that extent. And I think part of me too was okay with it, even if I was going to die, because I was so sick and I was in so much pain. I was suffering so tremendously that I just felt like, okay, if Yahuah wants to take my life through the birth of these twins and maybe they live on past me, that would be okay. And that he would take care of my family and that it would be all right. Because I just didn't want to suffer anymore. I was suffering so much. But then he reached down with his mighty hand and he delivered me. He saved my life. He safely delivered both my babies with just my husband there and our friend. And it's like he breathed new life into me. He gave me a second chance. I don't entirely know why, but he did. But he does. And after that, I just kind of felt like I was like living on borrowed time, you know? And I just was like so grateful. I was so grateful. He was so merciful to spare my life. And just now I get to lay down next to my twin babies and see them grow and raise them. It's such a gift. Life is such a gift. And I just feel like he was so merciful, and I wanted to thank him. I wanted to thank him, and I wanted to do something to thank him or show him that I was like grateful. And I was like, maybe I could take the Nazarite vow, like it's kind of like a fast. It's kind of like a fast or a sacrifice, you know, like to him. And I just kind of thought like maybe that could be something that I could do. I mean, obviously I can't repay Yahuah back. Like I can't pay him back. I can't pay him back for saving me. But I could thank him maybe in a way, you know? And so I was kind of thinking about it, but I was like, but I don't want to take it if I'm not supposed to, because I definitely felt this heaviness about it, and like just that it is, you know. And at the time we were living in Missouri, and there was a lot of people that were taking it kind of all around us, and I didn't want to just take it, like, you know, I didn't want other people to just think I was taking it just to take it, you know, because so many people were taking it, and I didn't want to take it if he didn't want me to, or if I wasn't supposed to. And I just was like, I remember praying and asking him just if he could confirm it in a dream for me that I was supposed to take it, that I would feel more comfortable taking it. And he did. He gave me a couple different dreams, but they were kind of back to back. One was about hair and not cutting it, and then another one was about like it had a big grapevine in it, and there were the first fruits that at the end of the grapes, or at the end of the vine, and but he said, but any of the other grapes you can sample, you can try. And I tried them, and they were like these heavenly grapes, you know. And I don't know if I should tell the whole dream. But anyway, so I felt like he gave me a couple dreams, and I definitely asked for that. And I asked that he would confirm it through dreams. So I felt comfortable taking it. And I remember even like I had even waited a couple months to take it, officially take it. And I just was kind of like hemming and hawing around. And I think part of me really was hesitant because of the one part of the vow, which is the hair. I was a little hesitant because I'd been growing out my hair for a long time. It's been long for a while now. And I don't know, the thought of like not ever being able to cut it felt very like, I mean, it would be a sacrifice for me to do that because a lot of times after I have a baby, my hair gets really thin. A lot of it falls out. And I usually want to like take it up, because it's usually grown long with the pregnancy. And then I want to like cut it back up here, like to kind of let the fresh stuff just grow again and help it to get long and healthy again. Cause it just feels like all the depletion of all the minerals from the baby and the breastfeeding and everything. And then it just falls out and it gets so thin. And something else I have always struggled with too is like just my hair, like my hair being a huge insecurity for me. And I mean, it's been a huge insecurity for me my entire life, actually. I have very, some people might say it's very thin or very fine texture. And mine is both. Mine is both kind of thinner hair and it's very fine texture. So it's kind of thin and fine. And it's been that way my whole life. And I didn't really think much of it. But then, I don't know, like I just started being more aware of it. And then my mom, like she struggled with like her hair being more thin and fine. And she would just kind of make comments sometimes and just say, like, oh, like you have my hair. I'm so sorry you have my hair. Like you got my hair, dad, your sister got dad's hair is all thick and you got my thinner hair, she would just kind of say things like that. And, sometimes and I think my mom too, like, I don't know how far back it goes, but my mom kind of just made it sound like it was like a generational thing, like in our family and like just this thin, fine hair, And I just started kind of, I guess, starting to believe that it was like so thin and fine. And then, comparing yourself to other people and like creates this insecurity, right? Your whole life. And that's why I used to dye it. That's why I used to cut it and keep it really short because it felt thicker when it was shorter and all these things. But it's always been a source of insecurity for me. So the hair thing for me with the Nazarite vow, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to cut it when I want to. That feels like that's going to stretch me. And then if I have to end the vow and shave all of my hair off, like that's really going to stretch me too. But I really felt like I wanted to take the vow. And so I did. I ended up taking it. And even the whole time I was like on the Nazarite vow, which I've only been on the Nazarite vow for, I think like 1 year and 4 months or something like that. Hasn't been that long. But the whole time, I wrestled with my hair. I wrestled with the hair thing, like mentally, like I said, just this being a big insecurity in me and just like wanting to come to the surface, but never really fully coming to the surface until we lost this baby. And now I'm faced with it head on and I have to shave my head. And it was one of the most emotional haircuts I've ever had in my entire life. All the full spectrum of emotions. But I remember before we shaved our heads, I was in the kitchen and I was trying to just mentally gear up for this thing because I'm like, this is really going down. Like, we're really going to do this together. Like, this is really intense. And I'm just like sitting in the kitchen and I had been reflecting on all of this it was kind of interesting. Like we lost the baby and then we had the 7 days, okay? After the death, the 7 days to kind of just sit on it and just, I don't know though, like the weight of that, like the heaviness of the death and the grieving, and then also the heaviness of you're kind of like mourning the death, but you're mourning the soon to be loss of your hair too, like, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it was kind of just, it was so many emotions. And during that time, those 7 days, is when this deep insecurity about my hair kind of surfaced for the first time, to where I could really hone in and I could see it. And I finally could see it. And I was like, oh gosh, like this is a big insecurity. And before we shaved my head, I prayed in the kitchen. I just wept before Yah. And I just was like, please, like, I just repented. I repented for all the things that I did to my hair because of insecurities, and having those, letting those whatever curses of my hair being thin and fine, like, define me, instead of like who he made me to be, how he created me to be. And just repented for that, and repented for believing that, believing that my hair was so thin and fine, and letting it discourage me my entire life, basically. And just asking him if he would set me free from that insecurity, if he would set me free, and if he would just completely, like, as I shave off my hair, like, if, like, all the insecurity that I've ever had in my life about my hair would just be shaved off, like it would be removed, like with the old dead hair just removed, and that he would just, however my hair is, however my head was, that I would just love it, that I would feel blessed by it, that I would see me, that I would see myself the way he sees me, and that I would look at my hair from now on how he sees me and how he made me and how he created me, and did not take on any of those insecurities ever again. And I prayed that in the kitchen before we cut my hair off. And I felt like when that hair came off, it was like this wave of emotion. Like, I felt it and I just started crying, and I was like, this is so good. Like, this is such a good thing to do. I said I'm shaking like a leaf. Kind of because I'm nervous, and kind of because
Frigid.
it's cold in here and I had to take off all of my layers. I pretty much live in perpetual layers of wool right now. And I'm gonna have to knit myself some kind of beanie to permanently wear, because it is so cold and I can't imagine not having hair. I've been living in beanies anyway. Oh, sorry, I don't have much to say right now. I'm just kind of in shock. All right, go ahead. Just get it going. Oh, I feel like I could cry right now. Do you wanna? You can pull that rubber band down a little if you need to. Ow. And there goes that.
Let's see.
Wow.
Let's see, Mom.
A tiny little ponytail.
Oh, Mom. This is the bad part.
That's
This is
so
the bad
horrifying
part.
sound.
This is the bad part.
Oh, I better just relax. Oh my gosh.
Because this is the bad part.
Naomi, this is the bad part.
Dad, you're going so fast.
Well, he can. He's like a barber. Dad's done this before, I think. Mom was nervous. I've never even...
There's a wisp on her head.
Just go slow, Dad. Go slow. I don't need any big chops.
Oh my gosh, I've never felt so bad.
Is it bald?
The bad part. This is the bad part.
Oh wow.
I'm saying that, Naomi. It's not the bad part.
It is.
This
Is it weird, Jane?
All the babies are gonna cry.
Jane's like, yeah.
You guys, why are you saying all these things? This is beautiful. This is honoring a vow that we gave to Yahuah.
Yeah.
This is us honoring our commitment to Him, and we dedicated ourselves to Him, and there's things that come along with that, you know? It's a beautiful thing to signify our mourning and to be able to do this together and be together. I'm very thankful we have this together. This would be much harder alone.
It would be.
It'd be very hard alone. We've experienced much hardships and sorrows over the years. But we've been able to be there together with each other, and now we get a fresh start together. Renew our life together with each other.
That's right.
And before Yahuah, and before our witnesses, our family, and our children.
Dad, you look so different.
I bet, sweetie.
I've never had my hair this short in my life except for the day I was born. And when I was a little baby, right?
Yeah.
Your hair's real short like this when you're a baby. Many people have to cut off their hair for all kinds of different reasons.
Right.
And it's never easy no matter what the reason is. What do you think?
Beautiful. Michael Butler. Thank you. I'm so thankful for you. All the life you've given me. Thank you for so much life.
And actually, the thing that I was scared of the most was seeing my shaved bald head. And I don't know why, but in my mind, in my distorted perception of myself and my insecurity with my hair, I literally thought that when I shaved it all off, that there was going to be nothing there. Like there was going to be like these sparse, like just hairs, like, cause like I really felt like I had like no hair, and there would be these sparse little hairs everywhere, and that there would like not be any like hair, I guess, even when I shaved it off. I don't know. I just like had this like, I just was so nervous about seeing that. But I prayed that Yah would take that from me when we shaved off my head, and we shaved it off, and I stood up and I went and I looked in the mirror and I just started smiling, and I just had such joy. I just had such joy, and I was like, I'm not bald. There is still hair. Like, and there's a lot of it. I mean, he knows every hair on your head. He knows how many hairs I have. He knows how many hairs Nathan has, because he made us and he created us, and we are beautifully and wonderfully made. And I don't know, I just had all this joy. And so I felt like my sorrow turned to joy. Like it really did. And with the cutting of the hair, like I know that sounds so just kind of weird, but I felt so much better. And like my girls were like in shock. They were like, Mom, like, whoa, like, whoa. And I remember Jubilee just kept coming up to me and being like, Mom, do you want to put on a hat? Do you want to put on a hat? Mom, do you want to put on a hat now? Like, this is weird. And I was like, no, Jubilee, I just want to feel my bald head. I just want my bald head to breathe. I just want to be me. And I was standing in the kitchen, and I just was cooking dinner, and Nathan looked over at me, and he was like, he was just smiling, and I was like, "What? Are you looking at my bald head? You know, like, what are you looking at?" And he's like, "No, Chell." He's like, "You look so beautiful." He's like, "You look free." He's like, "You look so free." And I was like, "I feel free. Like, I really do. I feel free. I'm free of that insecurity and that burden and that baggage I've been carrying my entire life." So hallelujah for that, you know? So even though this has been a really hard winter and a very tumultuous season and all kinds of unexpected, that his timing is perfect. And I'm just I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. I feel like his mercy is unending. And even when I wrestled with this stuff, and he knew I was wrestling with this the whole time I had the Nazarite vow, and maybe that wasn't very honoring to him. It probably wasn't. He's like, "You should be giving me your hair, like setting it apart for me. Like, it should be a good thing, an honoring thing." And I just wrestled with it the whole time. And that was really hard. And he knew that. He knew it was hard on me. So I don't know. I think a big part of it, a big part of all of this was just to really drudge out that insecurity in me.
It's a different pressure that you get societally as a man with an unkept hair. Because I just let it all be a bit more natural, you know? And in the initial phase, you suffer a very different kind of persecution. I mean, I don't know, bias, an automatic bias from people that see a man with long hair. And I mean, my hair grew like a grizzly bear, you know, it was prolific. It was huge and just kept growing. And, but you experience a different kind of persecution from that, and a prejudice maybe is an actual accurate term to describe what you face with that, because the initial response of people, or their initial perspective shift of you, is into a very different internal category than all the others, you know. And over the last few years, as literally I've been exposed to more and more opportunities to meet with people and do media appearances, and you get a lot of comments about it. You get a lot of different kind of literal comments down in the descriptions below, and everyone's got an opinion, you know, one of the cheapest commodities in the world. But it weighs on you a bit. And then I got to this level where I had accepted that I may have hair down to my stinking feet. I don't know, but what I do know is that I would rather be refined in this death of vanity, a death of my looks having anything to do with maybe a capacity of impacting people, and removing that factor from my life. So it's not even a thought that if I'm going to be undignified, let me be undignified for Yahuah, and let it be for his glory. And if there's anything good people see in me, it'll be the character of who I am and who I am before him, as opposed to anything related to my outward appearance. And so for that, the vow is very beneficial to winnow me down, and to winnow out of me the version of masculinity, or the machismo version of man that is given in our modern society. It's very modern. It's a very Roman idea for men to have this shaved, cultured appearance. It's not consistent through history and culturally, by no means whatsoever. And you got people that took the vow from Numbers chapter 6. There's a lot of them throughout there, whether it's Samuel, whether it's Samson, whether it's even John the Baptist. Yeah, but you got Paul did it, many other people. This was an important facet of their life, their history, and it's escaped the vast majority of our modern understanding. And so for me, it was really beneficial for that. It was really good to winnow that out of me, a very different kind of my own insecurity, perhaps my own desire how to be perceived. a lot of that just goes completely away. And for this season, I think if anything too, to see the freedom that it's brought her is so purifying, and this is why it says that the word, it purifies our hearts, and it fundamentally does in ways that very little else in this world can. Nothing quite purifies and reveals the inward thoughts and the inward intentions of the hearts of man like the word does, but it's living and active, and it has that power to bring that which has been buried since the first time your mom spoke an insecurity into you. She implanted a very false seed in you, and it matured into a tree that's been with you your entire life. And it required diligence to root it out, and it required sacrifice to root it out. And fundamentally, that's what the vast majority of these things are. Rooting these areas of strongholds out require diligence.
And vanity is such a stinking stronghold. It's such a bad one.
Yeah.
I even felt like one of the blessings of the Nazarite vow, because the word is it Nazir? It means kind of like unkept vine. And it kind of is, like, because you're not cutting, you're not trimming, you're not shaping, you're not maintaining. And I remember actually I forget when it was exactly. It might have been even before it, but I remember I kind of like stopped plucking my eyebrows. That was a big one, like a big, like, last final, like, vanity thing that I thought that I had. And because I felt like the roots of vanity run deep, and I felt like it took years for that to be uprooted. And it was like little by little, it was incrementally, like, these different areas of my life that the Father started convicting me about, like whether it was, the makeup or the clothing, the modesty, just different things, and I felt like when I started covering my head, like a few years back, that, the covering of the head, like, that was the final straw for the hair, like the vanity with the hair is kind of what I thought. Oh, I had no idea what was coming. The winnowing, like you said, Nathan. But yeah, stop plucking my eyebrows. That was another big one. Stop shaving my underarms and my leg hair. That was another big one. These are just, and if you think about it, you're just like, this, I mean, it sounds so crazy, like, that we, like, have gotten to such a place in our society where we are so modifying of ourselves. Like, we are literally plucking and shaping our eyebrows, like, from how they naturally grow. Like, we're removing armpit hair that's supposed to be there, that's healthy and good for our bodies and is there to benefit us, not to harm us. And like we're so insistent on removing it, which all has to do with I think that guy Gillette.
Another conspiracy afoot.
Anyway, I digress. But yeah, vanity has its strong roots. And I just, I mean, like I said, before I took the vow, I kind of knew it. I was like, this hair thing, this is like going to be a thing. This is going to be like a hard thing and a hard part of the vow. And another hard part of the vow, I think, is sobriety. That's another really important aspect of the vow too. If you have struggled with alcohol at all, whether it's wine, whether it's strong drink, whatever your drink of choice is, if you struggle in that area, I think it's a really beautiful, like you said, Nathan, reminder of what better reason to stay sober than for the Most High, right? Like, a vow to Him, to keeping your vow to Him. Like, it's a really beautiful way to stay sober. So, I've struggled with alcohol in my life, very intensely all through college and then even after college. And, I ended up, I felt like the Father called me to sobriety. I think it was our first year of marriage, actually. And that was hard. That was really hard. But I definitely felt very committed to that cause. And after being sober for years, it just, I don't know, that the struggle became less and less and less. And Anyway, I've been sober for like 13 years now. I think actually on January 4th was my 13th year of sobriety. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it was good. But anyway, yeah, we've been through a lot, but it's been good. And I don't know, do you want to should we read some more? Should we read a passage of scripture? So my friend, I had mentioned, I had told her about what we had just been through with the miscarriage and the shaving of our heads and everything. It's kind of awkward having to, Marco Polo your friends and be like, so yeah, this is my hair now. Let me tell you about it. It's quite a change, but anyway, she's so sweet. And she said she was reading on Shabbat and she sent me this passage in 2 Corinthians. And I just thought it was so encouraging. She said, I just read it and I just kept thinking about you and with what you're going through in your situation. And I just thought it was so fitting and I wanted to read it to you. And so she read it to me. And now I want to read it to you because it was really encouraging to me. It's 2 Corinthians chapter 1, and I'm going to just start in verse 3. Blessed be the Elohim and Father of our Master Yeshua Messiah, the Father of compassion and Elohim of all comfort, who is comforting us in all our pressure, enabling us to comfort those who are in every pressure, through the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by Elohim. Because as the sufferings of Messiah overflow in us, so our comfort also overflows through Messiah. And if we suffer pressure, it is for your comfort and deliverance being worked out in enduring the same sufferings which we also suffer. If we are comforted, it is for your comfort and deliverance. And our expectation for you is steadfast, because we know that you are sharing in the sufferings, so also in the comfort. For we do not wish you to be ignorant, brothers, of our pressure, which came to us in Asia, that we were weighed down exceedingly beyond ability, so that we despaired even of life. Indeed, we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in Elohim who raises the dead, who rescued us from so great a death, and does rescue, in whom we trust that we shall still rescue us, or that he shall still rescue us. You also helping together in prayer for us, that thanks shall be given by many on our behalf for the favor bestowed upon us through many. For our boasting is this, the witness of our conscience, that we behaved ourselves in the world in simplicity and sincerity of Elohim, not in fleshly wisdom, but in the favor of Elohim, and much more towards you.
The gift of suffering is for comfort and deliverance of others too. That's why we share. Y'all, we made a commitment years ago to just be raw and authentic with y'all, and to just share with you our life as it happens and as it is, and not to give you a prepackaged version of a product, a production. We just give you guys as we are. And we know that the vast majority of you go through life in that reality and not in one that's artificial. And you know what? We share with you our sufferings, and knowing that we have a great big fellowship of suffering out there that many other people are going through that don't have the opportunity to share it with, or don't have a platform to push it out to. But you know what? In our sufferings, in these afflictions, we have seen the provision of him be steadfast. And we still rejoice in them, because we know he is working a path of production, purification in us that we need. Beautiful verse, a beautiful refinement. And yep. I would have never thought that this ending of the vow would lead to such deliverance in so many ways for her, that the sufferings that she has gone through is bringing that about, but I'm confident to know that he can work all these things together for the good and the saving of many lives. Yes. And so no matter what you guys are going through, no matter what sufferings and trials and afflictions, understand that his word is there to purify and to refine and to restore and to rebuild and to turn this heap of pain into a beautiful tapestry of hope. So thank you guys for coming along with us on this journey.
Yes.
We love you all so much. Really do.
So much.
We appreciate you guys tremendously and hope you will continue steadfastly in your hunger for the word and your love for each other. We love you all so much. You guys have a good night.